I wanted to introduce tonight by reflecting for just a minute on where we are in today's world. And I don't know about all of you, but where I work, it was a bruising week with a layoff of 6% of the employees. And lots of sad stories and lots of difficult times for everybody. And I was reflecting on how even if you don't get laid off, you still have the tremor of watching the HR person walk down the hall, and please don't stop at my door, and feeling relief when they don't, but also still loss and sadness at the people who are faced with no job in a market where it's very difficult to find something new. And I thought in the midst of all that, that very often when we're faced with times like this, we have a tendency to just hunker down and hide in the tall grasses, if you will. And that's probably one of the things that as a Taoist, we want to have stillness. We want to be able to relax and move inward inside ourselves. But it's also really a time to be aware of the teachers that are available to you and the teaching that can be tapped if you allow yourself to let it come in. And I was reminded of that this week with a group I'm working with in our Florida office, who I'm helping them prepare for a national certification exam. And because I didn't want to move to Florida for 3 months, I hired a vendor to actually do the teaching for this preparation. And they all got on the phone and called me Tuesday evening, and they were so upset. The teacher didn't know what she was doing. She was setting them up for failure. She told them she was going to give them a quiz on A, and instead the questions were all about B. She had lied to them. She had not been truthful to them. And they were just whipping it up. They were just so unhappy. And since it was my vendor, I had to fix this, right? So I called the vendor, who of course, who's been teaching for like 30 years, all in this same area of specialty. And we talked about why it was that this group of people may have reacted in this way. And as we talked and as I thought about the people, one of the thoughts that came to me is that at a time when our own ignorance may be revealed, when our own lack of knowing may become obvious to other people, that those are the times that we become most offensive and offensive to others. So that almost if, I can say, what's really Derek's fault, not mine, even though I'm the one that goofed, that maybe people will look at him and not realize that I'm the one that goofed or I'm the one that didn't know. And I thought it was interesting that the people were actually the person who was sort of the ringleader in my group of workers in Florida is probably the person who's viewed upon as he should know. He should have the most information about this topic, and he really should lead his people to being open and learning. But he's so frightened, and he's so worried about being shown to not, quote unquote, be enough, not know enough, that he is reacting in a way that's being really, well, it's disrespectful to the teacher, but it's really devastating to his staff, because they're going to fire him, right? He must know. I was also reminded of this last week. I've been taking a 6-week class on the study of Rumi and his poetry, because I still believe Rumi is a Taoist. The Sufis don't agree with me, but I believe he's a Taoist. Or some Taoist wandered across his path more than once as he was becoming Rumi. And the teacher was talking about the 3 stages of, and you can fill in the blank, development, enlightenment, ascendance, whatever, from a Sufi perspective and what he feels is embodied in Rumi's poems. And he says, and I won't give you the Arabic words because I'll massacre them, but the first stage is one that you all recognize. It's the stage when everything in life is full of disappointments. Nothing works. Your lover's left, your children are misbehaving and disrespectful, your job is really awful or non-existent, it's raining all the time, your flowers won't come up Life is just full of disappointment and anxiety and worry. And it's only when you can move to the point of saying, I think I might have created all that. I'm letting that be that way. I'm welcoming it into my world from the way that I see it and the perspective that I give it. And that by moving to the second stage of the great void, of emptiness, of being willing to let that go and feel what is within yourself to do the healing and to actually create a different, more loving perspective. Is it all sounding familiar? Mm-hmm. And then the third level, which the Sufis call the reunion of the lovers. So being able to take what you have polished and shined within, that, whatever you want to call it, the blue light, the seed, the pearl, and then being able to share that with others, being able to be loving without being attached, being able to give gifts without expecting one back. All of those things that Dr. Fang talks about. But what struck me, especially on the heels of what I experienced at work, is that the Rumi teacher said, and you know, the only thing that gets in the way of getting to the third stage is ourselves. Most of us, especially in America, will not accept a teacher because we already know it all. We've figured out who we are, what our path is, and where we should go. But his rendition of some of the Rumi poetry is that only by emptying yourself so that the teacher can reflect your own true self and love back to you, can you really move to the second and the third steps. And so then I thought, that's really Taoist. To be able to be empty so that you can hear, be able to be non-attached to your shoulds, oughts, all of those things that we let guide us too much during the other 29 or 30 days of the week when you're not here. So I wanted to share that with you because I thought, you know, Sufism, Rumi's been around since 1300. Taoist has been around for 2,000 to 4,000 years, however you want to count it. And that there really are lessons for us. And I'm happy you're here tonight to have one of those lessons and to share this with us. And with that, I'd like to turn it over to Dr. Fang.
Thank you, Shani.
Green light on.
I think so. Let's see. Welcome, everyone. Who's new this time? And how did you find us?
Metro magazine, a local community magazine, showed an article.
And what made you interested in coming here?
I have an interest in this area along with other areas.
Yeah, interested in areas, I like that. Realms, interested in
Right,
realms.
okay, there we go, that works too.
And I know you. What's your first time here? Go way back. My husband was a student of mine. He was what? How old? 10? And his sister had the same name as my sister, Melanie. And
I was referred by a friend and online.
because
He was a fellow Taoist and to congregate with others.
right on. 2 people this week have said to me I'm a Taoist. That's a lot for me. That's a lot in my life. Usually people don't say those things. Hi, I'm here because I'm a Taoist. It's unusual. It's unusual. People say all kinds of other things. So this space is called 知道观. 知 means like extreme, ultimate, beyond. Tao is the self that moves beyond differences. So the Taoists, Taoists, people who think that there is a state of being. I've seen you a long time either. There's a state of being that is empty, filled with potentials. So this empty space, nothing has manifested yet. It's all just ready to happen. And it's through, the recognition of that something is born. The self that moves is born. The self that moves, and the self that realizes, I am that great void as well. This is awareness of that great void. Yin Yang is born, and that seeming separation of differences. Yin Yang means differences. All description, we say, is due to recognition. Recognition brings the understanding of differences. And we say that's an illusion. Recognition is the light green. Is it a green light? I see a green light. Is it an illusion? Is it a creation of my mind, or does it really exist? Does it still exist if I close my eyes? Will it still exist if I, let's say, die? So these are the questions that the Taoists spend time on. I think about this. Guan means view. View. Guan means view. View also comes from consciousness, awareness. So this space is called a space, a view, a vision, a perspective, an understanding, an awareness, a consciousness of the thing called Tao. And in our practice, we say, you must take yourself to the edge. If you don't take yourself to the edge, it's hard to know what's on the other side. Today I was giving a class at Contra Costa College, and the question was asked, what is Qi? I make my students do that, repeat things that they have learned, and see how much they actually got it. So the person answered, it's about management of inside and outside. Internal energy and external energy. So I said, what is the difference? What's the difference between what's inside and what's outside? And she paused and said, ooh, it eludes me. I said, that's the right answer. I want you all to go to that place on the edge of what eludes you. Whatever it is. Go to the edge. We say, crack a little hole. Go to the other side. You can visit briefly and come back. You can also reside there for a while and just see what's happening. So in our Qigong class, we practice breath. And the way we practice breath is we take our breath, let's say inhalation, and we go just inhalation. Let's just dwell in the world of inhalation only. So let's just give that a try. We have one thing in our mind. We do only one thing. We only inhale. Go for it. So as an example, whenever you're ready, let's go to the other extreme. Did everybody just inhale, or some of you cheated? You're honest. It's okay. We encourage cheating in this class. We say, just get it. If you have to cheat to get it, get it. If you need to read somebody else's notes, do it. Ask your neighbor, what's the answer? Do it. We're a firm believer in cheating to gain self-knowledge. And only when you're not able to sustain this particular process, but you got to go to the edge and then beyond. You go through a transition and go to exhalation. So, take a nice breath. Only exhale. There's more. As an example, take a full breath. Go to the other side. So we say, we learn the process. And in the extreme of the process, there's a space called wuji. Right? You have yin or yang. And between yin and yang, there's a space where there is no yin or no yang. You are suspended in the illusory state. Is that clear enough? So that's what we encourage, and a way of looking at life, a way of looking at your being and becoming, a way of being and becoming, using a particular view, understanding, perspective to understand Tao. Tao. Tao is a self that moves beyond differences. Tao also means path. 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 Ways. Ways. My way of being. Natural way of being. Nature's way of being. We call nature 自然. Self. 自 means self. 然 means let it be. Let it be yourself. It's nature and natural. Let it be yourself. So we always say you have to be comfortable with yourself in order to reach these states. Sure, you're going to come through bumps. Emotions will come. The demons, emotions or thoughts may hook you or trap you or entangle you or call your attention for a while, but you need to erase that and go beyond differences. The self that moves beyond differences understands Tao. Tao. Path, ways of being, ways of becoming. Tao. Somebody was talking about, actually a lot of people, Charlene talked about tonight, difficult times. Difficult times. what's important when you have difficult time. It reminds me of a joke, right? This is a joke. Somebody told me it was a joke. So you may have heard this before. Somebody went to the dentist and had some earphones on. And the dentist says, "Why do you have those earphones?" "Well, my friend told me I must listen to what's being spoken to from the earphones, otherwise I will die." And the dentist said, "Oh, nonsense. Take those earphones on, I gotta work on your teeth." The person takes off the earphones, and next you know, the person died. The dentist says, "What is going on? What are those words that are so important that took the life of this person?" So he takes the earphone, puts it on, the voice comes. Very difficult times. And the word comes. Okay. The words comes. Inhale. I love that. Inhale, exhale. So that's what the Taoist would say. I'm going to have the tape out, by the way. Chris is going to help me make a video tape. I'm just sitting here saying, inhale, exhale, exhale. I would go inhale, and I'll pause the longest time. So long that you reach the other state, what we call breathless state. Breathless state. Visit that place. In the class today, in the Contra Costa College class today, a young woman, a niece, brought the auntie to see me. The niece took the class, enjoyed the class, brings the auntie to ask a question. The auntie says, "I have this pain. I've had this pain like for about 13 months now." And it happened during the time where my neighbor cut a hole through the wall and came into my house and stole things. I said, "But you were okay?" Yes. But my husband got so upset, he died. I said, "No." She says, "Yes." I said, "No." She says, "Yes." No. Yes. He died of anxiety over this situation. And simultaneously, one of her daughter passed away through some medical mishap. So she's really upset and had this pain. And I said, your niece brought you over here. Your niece is really a marvelous, loving person. She loves you so much. She brings you here to seek advice, resolution. So I asked the niece, I said, what do you think? And the niece looked at the auntie and says, just let it go. Yes, just let it go. It happened at the same time. You're home with anxiety. Your husband died from it. Well, why do you want to go through this? So I said to the auntie, I said, this child is magnificent. And the auntie says, yes, she's my black diamond. I said, yes, a shining black diamond. But if you don't pay attention to the shine, and you choose to live in the darkness, that's where you're going to reside. And what happens to this light that's not being absorbed? What happened to this light that's not being absorbed? Will it diminish? Will it still exist when one day you want it? I don't know what happens, so we'll see. This is Buddha hand. Forso. Buddha hand. Pass it and smell it. Oh, wonderful. Forso. Buddha hand. So we say during difficult times, pay attention to what's important. You have to decide what is important. What is important? Yeah, of course, inhale, exhale. Your body helps. You have a healthy body. It helps. So what else? What's important to you? Doing a survey.
People in your life who love you, you love them.
People. Is the people more important or is the love more important?
Having the love.
Huh?
Love.
Love. So
Mhm.
people that love you and you love the people. I only hang around people who love me. I only hang around people who adore me. Forget those who don't adore me, you know. Who next door? Please. Because only then can you return. Can you reciprocate? And you have to be like, Monkey King, Mai, Guan Yin. Is it Durga? Or whoever. You don't be to say, I just have love. So the question is the people important? Are people important? Is the love important? So love is important. So during difficult time, know what's important. Inhale, exhale. What? Food, yeah, because we have a body. We have a form. We have this thing that we reside in, around. So we need to take care of this. So there's only a few things we need to do. They did a research on centurions. Some university. And the centurions are people who are over 100. Naomi, what's a centurion? centurion. You were in Neverland, huh? Come back. A centurion is some people who live like over 100. So there are a couple of common denominators. Not do you smoke, not do you eat fish or vegetable or zucchini or linzhi or ginseng or chicken or tofu, about that. You drink whiskey, lime juice. It's not about that. It's about number one. Can you still walk? Mobility. That's why Tai Chi says, first thing first, train your legs, train your foundation. 2, interestingly enough, all the centurions were still working. Busy. They got things to do, places to go. Hands to shake, babies to kiss. People to make contact with. Their service, they're still servicing. They're still servicing. Selflessly, wu wei. Not for the sake of servicing, not for the sake of anything, just servicing. Come on in.
Peace of mind.
Peace of mind is good. I like peace of mind. Exactly. The state of their mind is peaceful and happy. They have good attitude.
Routine.
Say?
Routine.
Routine?
Routine. That's what a person, elder, a lot of them live long through routine.
Routine.
Whatever that may be, hopefully a good.
Yeah, inhale, exhale. That's it.
Sure.
Sure. Walk around. It's the second thing you gotta be doing.
What happens when they walk on their hands?
I don't know. You try it.
I couldn't.
Well, don't talk about it. I always tell my students, if you have great ideas, I love them, but you have to be able to carry them out. Don't come up with great ideas and pontificate in front of me. Make it happen. Can you hear me? Question? No. So within that last realm, the realm of state of being, is an important ingredient. The ingredients, they get lost easily. Loss of a husband, loss of material things that somebody stole or taken, fire, nature, loss of house, loss of loved ones, loss of friendship, loss of people, loss of food, loss. Get over it easily. Or whatever you lost, you get over it easily. It's the other common denominator for being centurions. So, why did we talk about this? Can somebody backtrack for me?
Difficult times, what is important?
What's
I think you are important. I think you are important.
But there's no you and I. It's just important. There is no you and I. There's only That's how we say. There's only I. It's all about me. So what that would say, sit in the proper position, be comfortable, always be comfortable. Sit quietly, 静坐, it's called meditation, sitting in the seat of quietness. Quietness is also without struggle. The character for jing is without struggle. Don't struggle. Just be comfortable. Don't fight. Comfortable. And we sit, what we call, with the exercise we call 坐忘, sit and forget. This is a difficult task, but I'm going to ask you to try it for a little bit. The difficult task isn't that you're going to try it. The difficult task is I'm going to tell you to come back. And I didn't want you to forget that, please. I treated a patient recently. Who had a illness. And the illness is oftentimes a fissure in the brain, and makes them leave this world and go to the other world. They can't talk for a while. And their hands and feet are like paralyzed, no strength. And they leave. They just leave. And I had to explain to the family. I did acupuncture. And often the acupuncture makes you go, ow! And the family had a hard time, seeing a person who's like in that condition, being in pain. And I said, well, as you leave, it becomes more and more comfortable. Pain is a path that calls you back. For this individual, not for every one of you. But for this individual, pain is a message for you to come back to this world. All that this world's entailed, her children, her husband, beautiful musical family, beautiful friends, a wonderful support system, loving people. If you want to come back, you have to recognize some discomfort. So we say, yes, be comfortable, not without some bumps along the way. You will experience this and that. But remember what's important. Love is a big word, as big as Tao, as big as as big as any sound that you can make that makes up a word or a concept. So we say go beyond that concept, go even beyond the word. Go to that space in which all things resides as potential. This is potential. My recognition solidifies it. As for now. Just for now. Okay? So, I was at the dinner with some friends, and these are people I've known since the 70s. And I'm only 39 plus. Who was talking about it today? One of the people were talking about, I demonstrated this breath thing in one of the classes, and somebody said, but don't you have to be young to start this? And I said, not for this exercise. If you get it, you get it. You get it now. You get it, you understand it. And later on, we did some stretching exercises, and I said, yes, age is an issue in this one. If you don't start young, your hips are all frozen, it's hard to do this exercise. So it's all relative in what you're able to gain, what you're able to get. Where was I? At a dinner party with some friends. And which I've known since the 70s. Time. So the mother says to me, you know, my daughter, she walks the dog in the rain. It can make her sick. Weaken her defense systems, you may catch a cold. She's already tired. I said, yes. And the mother says to the daughter. The daughter looks at us and says, Dr. Feng, that wasn't your idea. That was my mom's idea. You just agreed with her. And mom is always right. And she made a mistake by saying, right? Mom is always right. I looked at her and said, no. Yeah, I will always say, you're right. You're right. Oh, she was furious with me. You say yes to everything, don't you? You would say yes to my mom, you would say yes to me. I said, no. But the interesting thing wasn't the yes and no. The interesting thing that it created fire. Created fire. In the realm of the Taoist, yes and no was relatively insignificant. So, a student asked the teacher, what transpires through the lineage? What transpires through the lineage? You try. Yeah, why not?
What transpires through lineage?
Yeah, what transpires through lineage? I mean, there's a lineage. There's lineage is like a wave of energy that creates, that maintains, that teaches, that supports. And then this lineage continues. What transpires?
That energy.
Huh?
That energy.
Exactly. So the teacher answered 1, 2, 3, 4. Recognition of that. True recognition of that. Imbibing that. Questioning it. Imbibing it. Questioning it. Imbibing it. Passing it on. Discussing it. If somebody else gets it, that's number 5. So it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So the student asked, so what does a realized one have? The teacher answered, I'll tell you when you get it. When you have it. The student say, you lie. It was a very bold student. You lie, meaning you have it, but you don't want to tell me. Why? You lie, you have it. And the teacher's answer was, I'll tell you when you get it, when you have it. And the teacher said, no, I don't lie. My teacher lied to me. Without my teacher lying to me, I would never have found the truth. In the Taoist culture, we really do believe in cheating. And we also believe in stealing. And I don't mean like things, okay? Don't misinterpret me on the record. I'm not talking about, we're talking about stealing wisdom. It's our way of saying thank you. It's our way of giving appreciation. See? I stole from you. Thank you. That's our way of saying thank you. Because sometimes people don't want to share and you have to kind of observe it and get it. And when you do, we call it stealing. But for us, It's okay. It's okay to lie. I don't mean like, you know what I mean, right? Right? You know what I mean. I don't mean like go out and lie. That's not right. I'm not trying to teach you that here. So we say, don't lie to yourself. Don't lie to yourself. And question, what is truth? A student goes up to the guru. Oh, guru, I've been a philosopher 70 years. Tell me, how do I obtain truth? Real truth. But I want to live in truth. Truth. It radiates me. I want it to possess me. The guru looks at the student and says, go beyond truth. This is a real story shared by a ex-philosopher. It was a great story. Great story. Go beyond truth. Taoist say, 道可道非常道. That which can be pointed as the way. Take a look, take another look. That which is said to be truth, we say. Listen to it and listen to it again. And again. You have to decide. That is a difficult part. You have to decide. You have to have the spontaneous recognition and realization of what it is for you, truth. There was a musician. He played the flute. He also played the guzheng, erhu, the drum. He loved music. Music, sound was everything. And I realized that when he produces a sound, the other sound can't exist. When he produces a sound. So he sat in the forest, anywhere, doesn't matter where, bus stop, toilet seat, Japanese tea garden, right here. And he listened. And understood what music was. Natural sound made by the wind, whatever, flickering of the candlelight, sound. He gave up playing the flute, the guzheng, drum, violin, harmonica. He went inward. Inward. And that's what we suggest during a hard time. Know it's important. Inhale, exhale. Breathe. Maintain this form. The 4 things that make this form live over 100. Centurion. No love. No. Reside in the world of love. Reside. It's okay. It's okay. It's a nice place. As Taoists, you should know that we can go anywhere. So we say you can summon the saints and sages from heaven or the demons from the other side. We say we can go anywhere. We are free. We are free beyond yin and yang. We are free beyond yin and yang. So we recommend that you do that when times are hard. Inhale, exhale, take care of the form, find out how other people live to over 100, live by some of those rules, not what you smoke, what you drink, what you eat, not about that. Any diet is good, as long as it's healthy. Attitude, loss, state of peace, joy, love. Important things. Is there anything else?
Laughing?
Laughing. Part of joy.
Yeah.
Part of joy. In Chinese medicine, laughing and joy resides at what element? Do we have any TCM people in here? Fire element.
Fire.
Yeah, fire element. Because it's volatile. It's hot. Yeah, like that. Fire element. But it can burn you if you're not careful. Too much of it can burn you. Not enough of it, you get squished by all the other elements like water, wood, earth, metal. They all come pick on you. So you need to be balanced. Right? Right. So you need to be balanced. We also say when somebody's heart is not balanced, they will have inappropriate laughing and crying. When your heart is imbalance, you'll get through a stage of laughing and crying. Well, everything is happening all at once. So we say your heart is not in its home. So bring the heart back home. Bring it back home. So joy, as Taoist, very much like the word Tao, is huge. I asked my father once, when I was studying Chinese medicine, how could joy be injurious to a human being? And his answer was, have you studied the Chinese opera? And what kind of answer is that? I asked you a question about joy, enjoying the body and psychic and all that. You tell me about Chinese opera. He said, yeah, Chinese opera has 300 different kinds of laughter that an artist have to learn. 300 different ways, at least 300 different ways that you have to learn. He says that if you understood that, then you'll know what joy is or is not. So yes. Inhale, exhale. Move around in your mind and your body. Move around. Have love. Plenty of it. Anything else? Get away?
Give it away.
Oh, give what away? What do you have? Who wants it?
There's a suitcase of diamonds under your foot.
Diamonds under my foot? Yes. Yes. I say yes to that. Yes. What's yours is mine. What's mine is mine. There is only I. But there's a thing called collective consciousness. It's like we exist in this place called collective consciousness. I exist because of it. I exist because of it. I exist. I exist, therefore I am. And I am in this collective consciousness. And I am myself only when I close my eyes. I am only me. Open my eyes, ooh, collective consciousness. Collective because we're here as a collective. All of you have the same consciousness, that's why we're here, existing on this plane at the same time. Yeah. That's Taoism. That's Zhi-Dao-Guan. This is the teaching. Somebody said once, that teacher is blah, 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 blah. And the question was, do you follow the teaching or do you follow the teacher? And you were telling me about Sufi, the relationship of a student and a teacher. A teacher is one who, in Sufism, you were telling me the other day.
Reflection, you mean, or
Yeah,
the 7 years?
whatever you like to say. The reflections of the world. So a teacher is one who
Reflects you back to yourself.
reflects you back to yourself. That's it. It could be anything. This. A gourd that has Zhi-Dao written on it. If it reflects. If it reflects. If it reflects all that we talked about, then that is the teacher. And you must give gratitude, because it's part of love. We have some tired people tonight. Any questions? Yes.
In the little program here?
A little program. Whew, big program.
Big
You're talking
program.
Little. It's like talking about little, big. What is like little program? Do you know who we are? Do you know how massive we are? Do you know how humongous and huge and what? People are coming in saying, I'm a Taoist. I'm telling you, do you know how widespread this is going to be? It's never happened before. People coming saying, do you know how big this is going to be? Get ready to ride the wave, folks. You're being trained. You're huge. Learn to swim.